There's a street in the California desert called Oldsmobile Boulevard. It's paved, it has a center line, stop signs at every corner. A few blocks east is Alpha Street, then Planet Lane. All of them real, all of them named, all of them leading nowhere. Today, we're counting down 10 real American developments, subdivisions, resorts, and planned cities, funded with billions of dollars, that ended up with almost no one living in them. Some were killed by the 2008 financial crisis, some by ecological disaster, some by fraud. One was designed to have 0 residents on purpose. All 10 are in the United States. All 10 are real. Starting at number 10. Our first stop is something older than most entries on this list. Golden Gate Estates, sometimes called the world's largest subdivision, covers approximately 175 square miles, roughly 110,000 acres, cut into the northern edge of the Everglades ecosystem east of Naples, Florida. It was developed in the 1960s by Gulf American Land Corporation. They drained Everglades wetland, dug a system of drainage canals, and laid out a road grid across the wilderness. Tens of thousands of lots were sold by mail order and direct sales. Affordable prices, warm weather, Florida investment potential. What buyers weren't told: much of the land wasn't buildable. The drainage canals flooded large sections in the wet season and created dangerous fire conditions in the dry season. The drained peat soil burned hotter and faster without the natural water table. Environmental researchers have called it one of Florida's most damaging real estate schemes. The state of Florida eventually began buying back large tracts to restore the Everglades. Today, the western sections have a real population of around 30,000 to 40,000 people, but vast portions of the original plat remain empty. The drainage canals run beside roads that go nowhere. The forest has simply grown back around the grid. In 2006, developer Michael Blagg announced Indian Ridge Resort in Branson, West Missouri, 900 acres in the Ozark Mountains, $1.6 billion projected cost, hundreds of castle-style luxury homes with stone facades and turrets, a boutique hotel, private amenities, and views of Table Rock Lake. Investment came in, land was purchased, site preparation began. Then, Lehman Brothers collapsed in September 2008. Financing evaporated. Of the hundreds of planned homes, just 13 were ever started and most were never completed. For years, the half-built stone structures stood in the Missouri forest while deer walked through the open framing. Locals called it the McMansion Ghost Town. In 2018, a new group tried to revive it under a different name. That stalled too. In October 2022, Silver Dollar City, the theme park next door, purchased the entire 900-acre property and demolished what remained within a month. After 16 years, a $1.6 billion plan, 13 unfinished houses, and one financial crisis that ended it before it started. Every other entry on this list was designed to attract residents and failed. Site is the exception. It was built to have none. Proposed in 2011 by a company called Pegasus Global Holdings, Site was to be a complete, functional American town of 35,000 person scale. Streets, mall, church, school, business district, built for approximately $1 billion in southern New Mexico. No one would live there. The entire purpose was a technology test environment: self-driving cars, 5G networks, smart grids, drone systems, all tested at city scale without disrupting real residents. Construction was announced for 2012, then delayed to 2018. As of early 2026, Site has not been built. It exists as architectural renders, planning documents, and a website. No structure on site, no groundbreaking date. It is a ghost city that has never had a resident, not because it failed to attract people, but because it was never built in the first place. The ghost came before the city. 20 miles east of the Las Vegas Strip is a 320-acre man-made lake surrounded by Italian-style resort architecture, cobblestone plazas, a bridge modeled after Florence's Ponte Vecchio, 3 Jack Nicklaus golf courses, a Ritz-Carlton, a casino, and waterfront homes ranging from $365,000 to $3.3 million. Total cost, $5 billion. By the early 2000s, it was genuinely thriving. Celine Dion bought a home there. Golf magazine named it a top semi-retirement destination. It was working. In fall 2007, the developer defaulted on $540 million in loans. A new buyer took over and filed Chapter 11 in July 2008, listing debts of $500 million to $1 billion. New home sales dropped from 215 to 41 in 2 years. Foreclosures jumped from 1 to 208 in the same period. 2 Nicholas courses closed, the Ritz-Carlton shut down, the waterfalls were turned off. Even the fish in the lake died. The circulation system stopped being maintained. The development emerged from bankruptcy in 2010 and slowly recovered. But for 3 years, a $5 billion investment sat nearly empty in the Nevada desert. In 2006, Mojave County approved Silverado Ranch, 5,000 acres of desert northwest of Kingman, planned for 12,000 homes, including 113 luxury mansions on 2.5-acre lots, an 18-hole golf course by designer Forrest Richardson, schools, parks, and 1,600 acres of commercial development. Developers bought the land, graded streets, and actually started building. About 6 of the luxury mansions were days from completion, garage doors fitted, windows in, light fixtures installed. Then 2008 hit, financing vanished, and the project stopped cold. The developer applied to rezone for a solar farm in 2009. The county approved it. The solar company never filed a construction application. Nothing was ever built. Those 6 mansions still sit in the Arizona desert, windows smashed by vandals, walls marked with bullet holes, drywall crumbling in the heat. The billboard on US 93 still advertises luxury living at Silverado Ranch. On the ground, there is only desert and silence. Fly over the desert just north of Albuquerque, and you'll see an immense, perfectly organized grid of roads, thousands of them, stretching across the high desert plateau. Almost no buildings. This is Rio Rancho Estates, and it is one of the largest land fraud cases in American history. In 1961, a company called AMREP purchased 90,000 acres of New Mexico desert, and over the next 16 years sold more than 75,000 lots nationwide through free dinners, slideshows, and high-pressure sales presentations. Most lots had no water, no electricity, no sewage, and no realistic resale value. The land AMREP bought for roughly $180 per acre was sold to buyers at up to $11,800 per acre. In 1977, 4 executives were convicted of mail and land fraud. The ghost grid remains largely empty to this day. The legitimate city of Rio Rancho, built separately just to the east, now has over 100,000 residents and is New Mexico's 3rd largest city. The original estates, roads, lot lines, and almost no one. 15 miles east of Fort Myers, Lehigh Acres covers 96 square miles with over 100,000 platted lots, a road grid some researchers have compared in density to Manhattan. It was developed from 1954, with lots sold for $10 down and $10 a month. For decades, it grew far too slowly to support real infrastructure. Then subprime lending arrived. Between 2000 and 2005, Lee County median home prices tripled to $315,000. If you could sign a dotted line, you were handed the keys, one resident later recalled to CNN. Then, 2008. Lee County became the foreclosure capital of the United States. In one Lehigh Acres zip code, 42% of all properties went into foreclosure. Median home values fell from $315,000 to $81,000, a 74% collapse. Vacant homes became drug labs and squatter shelters. President Obama chose Fort Myers as the backdrop for announcing his 2009 stimulus package because Lee County was the clearest symbol of what had gone wrong. By 2014, 30.7% of children under 18 in Lehigh Acres lived below the poverty line. Thousands of original platted lots remain empty today. In 1957, brothers Leonard and Jack Rosen bought 103 square miles of Florida swampland for $678,000 and launched one of the most brazen real estate schemes in American history. They dug 400 miles of canals to create waterfront lots, chartered planes for fly-and-by tours, advertised on television, and gave away lots on The Price is Right. First-year sales topped $9 million. What the brochures skipped. Most lots had no water, no sewers, no grocery stores within 20 miles. The Rosens sold the company in 1970. Their buyer filed for bankruptcy in 1975. At that point, Cape Coral had 11,000 residents spread across 103 square miles of empty platted land. It eventually grew into a real city of about 200,000. But in 2008, Lee County became one of the highest foreclosure rate counties in the country. 42% of properties in one zip code went into foreclosure between 2008 and 2013. Cape Coral survived. Its origins didn't go away. In the 1950s, the Salton Sea was the most visited place in California. Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack vacationed there. The Beach Boys performed on its beaches. Developers saw a gold rush. The Holly Corporation plotted out Salton City. 12,000 lots, 250 miles of paved roads, a golf course, 3 hotels, and the largest marina in California. Opening weekend lot sales hit $4.25 million. The sea had no outflow. Agricultural runoff from the Imperial Valley poured in for decades. Pesticides, fertilizer, salt, with nowhere to go. By the 1990s, the water was poisoned. In a single 4-month stretch in 1996, approximately 14,000 birds died near the shore, including nearly 10,000 pelicans whose carcasses had to be burned for weeks. The resort collapsed. By 2010, 81% of Salton City's lots remained undeveloped and 38% of existing homes were vacant. A 2014 study put the ongoing economic damage at up to $70 billion over 30 years. The docks now sit 20 feet above the waterline. In 1958, a sociologist named Nat Mendelsohn purchased 82,000 acres of Mojave Desert, bigger than Chicago, for $6 million, with the stated goal of building the next Los Angeles. He named it California City, graded hundreds of miles of roads, dug a 20-acre artificial lake, and launched an aggressive national sales campaign. Tens of thousands of lots sold to buyers who, in many cases, never even visited. By 1965, the development had already stalled. Mendelsohn sold out in 1969. His successor was hit with a formal state desist order in 1972 for grossly exaggerating the city's development and filed for bankruptcy in 1984. The fraud continued for decades after. In 2019, the state sued a company called Silver Saddle Ranch for exploiting Filipino, Chinese, and Spanish-speaking communities through high-pressure sales tactics. Approximately 73,000 investors lost hundreds of millions of dollars across various California city schemes. Today, about 14,000 people live in the city's small western core. The hundreds of miles of desert roads to the east are mostly unpaved, slowly fading back into the sand. 10 places, all in the United States, all real. They span 7 decades in 6 states. Some crashed in 2008. Some were fraudulent from day one. One fell victim to an ecosystem dying around it. One was never even built. But they all share the same assumption, that if you plot the lots and name the streets and launch the sales campaign, the residents will come. That growth is inevitable. That the future is a place you can engineer. Sometimes it works. Cape Coral is 200,000 people today. Rio Rancho proper is New Mexico's 3rd largest city. Lake Las Vegas recovered. Places can come back. But what California City, Salton City, Golden Gate Estates, and the rest tell us is the cost of running too far ahead of reality. You can grade the desert, drain the swamp, build an Italian bridge over a man-made lake in Nevada, and still discover that the one thing no development budget can buy is the only thing that makes a city real: people. If you found this interesting, subscribe. Every week we cover real places like these, documented, verifiable, stranger than anything you could invent. Thanks for watching.